When I say go, you're going to run down to the opposite double sideline and stop.
You have to say it before you hit.
Every game counts.
Each game, each point is very important, but we got to fight for every game.
That's how hard you guys want to go.
This court on that side right now has to hit every shot inside the service line.
Service line, go.
Keep playing, keep playing.
My name is Diane Matias. I am the Director of Junior Tennis for USTA Southern California. This weekend, we are at Costa Mesa, California for an early development camp for our 10 and under green ball players. This early development camp is an invitational camp, and it is for the players that accumulated the most Grand Prix points from the spring to winter season.
So these are like the top kids that have done well in tournaments, and every round they win, they get points at the end of it. However many points that they get, the top 10 finishers are invited to this camp. So it's a pretty prestigious thing.
So we have about 24 10U players this weekend.
I think these are phenomenal opportunities for, again, the kids to get together and train and get to know each other in a competitive setting, yet, again, make it still social.
In the EDCs, we generally try to get a pretty good idea about who the players are, what some of their skills are, identify some of, their technique and their movement patterns. And then a lot of times we're going to try to incorporate some drills that are easy for them to do, teaching them about just directional control of the ball, making sure that they can move the ball around the court and have a pretty good idea of what they want to do tactically.
With my ground strokes, what am I trying to do? Keep the ball deep, which might make my opponent do what? Hit a short ball. Then when I see that they hit a short ball, what do? I go in. Do I try to win the point on the approach?
No.
Do I try to win the point on the volleys right now? No. If you also hit a net court dribbler again, that will be a bump. Are you ready to find your courts? Go.
Okay, everybody, tap right here. Tap the net. So that's going to put you in the continental grip, right? If your racket is going down face like that, you have the wrong grip. Left hand in the throat of the racket for stability, right? So now we're going to do mini tennis, and we're going to chip. We're going to bunt like a volley, but it's going to be mini tennis, service line to service line. Deal?
I think we're gaining a lot of, knowledge and experience and a lot of teamwork for these great players.
Great kids, it's wonderful. I think a lot of them too, we're working on a couple different things, which gives them a little bit more of just a different voice in their heads, right? Where they're trying to make sure they're working on the right shot. And I think a lot of these kids, they play regular ball a lot of times, even though it's a green ball camp, and so they go and they practice off regular ball, and so trying to get them to develop points a little bit more, because when they play with regular ball, they're not having to develop the points as much. So this forces them to.
Other than just getting better skills, getting to meet the people that they're going to end up playing with their entire junior careers. The kids that they're playing with right now are going to be the same kids that they're going to be playing with all throughout their entire junior career, maybe if they're lucky enough to play in college. So the friendships that they make, going out and just having fun playing tennis.
When you're playing in a match, I want you to pay attention to this. How long are you in the point when the ball is going back and forth? Like, how many seconds do you think you're in the point? Well, I think they have to learn the idea that they need to be accountable for their own skills. They have to be able to not just hear what people are saying, but they have to be able to listen. So it doesn't just go into their ears, it has to go into their brains. And if they can get used to the idea that they have to digest the information and then apply it, that's the key. Can they actually apply it?
So when we're playing matches, I'm begging you guys to really think about placing every shot. You guys understand that? And that's something we can't, it's hard to get back. It's hard to just all of a sudden go back to control when we're 15 years old, right? We have a development center, right? In a good academy, you're definitely gonna play on clay court, which makes what happen?
Goes like lower, and if you put more power on it, it's just gonna, it's not gonna go that far.
Right. So there's not as much of an advantage to just ripping the ball and hitting the ball hard. This has been phenomenal. This camp, especially here too, is that kids are wanting to learn. They're wanting to, have that different voice inside their heads that kind of says, okay, maybe I need to do this. And they're just very receptive to what we're saying. So it's been wonderful so far. There haven't been people complaining about different things. They've been working hard. And so I couldn't be more thrilled.
Yeah, the main objectives for these camps are just to get our top Southern California players to practice together. They're used to competing with each other. We want to bring them in an environment where they're learning new things. They're a little bit out of their comfort zone. They're able to connect with other players from the section so they can practice with each other outside of the camp. And another big factor of these camps are the parent education. We're educating the parents about the junior pathway and just several other topics like how to deal with the mental and emotional side for them.
Parents are coming up and asking us, does my kid have what it takes? And it's, oh my gosh, they're 9 years old. I mean, there are just so many things that can happen between now and then. So if we can just instill a sense of enjoyment as they would going to a gymnastics class or a music class, then that's great. I mean, that's the whole goal at this stage. And then obviously we have EDC camps that go to like Chuck coaches with the highest ranked juniors in the country. And so, but I mean, the fundamentals are the same and the point is just the same. It's just a little different asset at this young age.
Because of this early development camp, so we went to tournaments almost every week, and so we're really excited to be invited to attend this early development camp. I feel like USTA was doing a great job in developing the younger kids, and it really inspires them, and the camp builds friendship as well. They learn a lot, and they are having lots of fun.
I think one of the best things these camps do as well is they put a big emphasis on parent education, and a lot of them are new to the game of tennis, just like their sons or daughters are. A big part of our job as coaches is to provide them the information, answer their questions, to give them the best chance of their kids being successful.
This is the first time we attend this event, and it's been very fun so far. So I see that Roland is enjoying his time here. We're learning a lot as a parents as well, so a lot of information that is very helpful for us, just how to deal with him during the tournaments and all of that. It's a very nice experience, and we've been enjoying it so far.
Mostly it's about learning about themselves and having fun and enjoying each other's company. And I think that's really the biggest thing that we try to get out of the EDCs.
I think that we're always keeping our eyes open for the next great champion. I think that one of the things that I look for more than anything is the love of the game and the athleticism. Those two things, as long as you have love and athleticism, you can develop any player to any level.
The most important thing they get is that camaraderie, working with each other and realizing that if they work within this group, that the competition that they build with each other is also making them better, but it makes everybody else better. In the long run, it just elevates Southern California tennis in general.
I hope really the understanding of that they're all trying to accomplish the same thing. They're all working towards the same goal, whether it's, to be a Division I college athlete or whether it's to be a professional player. Even though it's a individual sport and they're working for themselves, the biggest thing is to look around and see that other kids are also working as hard as I am, and other kids are putting as much effort into the same sport as I am. So it really creates a big sense of camaraderie.
I think there's a lot of camaraderie with all of the other campers here, and also just like the individual attention, right? So like I'm working with 4 kiddos right here, all 10 and under, and just the individual attention that we're getting, and I'm starting to get to know their games, over the past 2 days, and just sometimes maybe like a little different voice in their head that they normally, don't get from their coaches they work with at home.
And we're basically trying to give them more tools for them to use for their future. right? And so to develop a slice, to develop a drop shot, to develop coming forward behind the shots too.
I learned to go for my serves because normally when I play against players, I don't really try that. I'm scared I'll miss it on my serve, but this camp taught me always go for your shot, so that helps a lot.
Right, sportsmanship is a huge factor. When things are fair, it's a lot more fun for them. We want to keep these players in the game, and we want to make sure that fairness and sportsmanship is being emphasized. So, we talked about like what happens if someone gives you a bad line call. How do you handle that? Why is sportsmanship important to you? Give me some examples of sportsmanship. And they gave really good answers regarding that.
Talent, there's a lot of people that might be talented, but if you're not willing to put in the work and the love of the game too. I remember people asking me too, it's like, okay, does this person love tennis? And that's become such an integral part, because if they do, they're gonna want to put the time in. And then early on, finding a good coach that is a little bit more holistic, where you're not just focusing on their technique, but letting them know and have a mindset of what their typical talent and skills would lead to them playing a certain game style, right? And so they can kind of get that early on, because there's a lot of coaches that go out there and they feed balls and their kids just develop their strokes, but they're not developing what's going to make them play and win in the future.
It was very good. It's like you learn new things in it. You can play match plays and go against your friends.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's definitely come full circle where I was at this, I played in a lot of the USTA SOCAL tournaments. I remember a lot of good memories at this age. So for me, it's more like, how can I keep it fun for them, but also educational? They're learning something, they're still developing, and how do we make them want to keep playing tennis? That's the main goal. And then same with the parents, it's like, how can I make sure they're being educated so they can navigate this journey, because it is a long journey. I mean, some of these players are 8 years old. They're going to be continuing to play in the USTA Pathway for another 10 years. So how do we keep them excited about competing?
You guys, it was a pleasure this weekend. We had a blast. So good job. Hopefully you guys can take some of the stuff that you guys learned and apply it to your games, and really work on playing with purpose and thinking about having good targets.
How about teamwork? Did you guys learn anything about teamwork, doubles, mixed doubles, right? Just being encouraging to your partners, right? Especially when you're playing a team event, everyone is depending on everyone, right?
Make sure you guys thank your parents. You guys were out here for a long time yesterday and today, right?
I think gratitude is a really big part of this game, and starting not just to be thankful for your parents or your coaches, but just for the opportunity to be out here and competing. Learning to love tennis is learning how to compete, and we have to be grateful for our opportunities to compete.
1, 2, 3.